After reading Arabi, it takes some comic relief, perhaps. Of course, we know humor is more effective in communication than most other means. We're reading from the Subtleties of the Mulla Nasrudin and into Shah. It takes one to know one. A practical joker challenged Nasrudin in the tea house. People say you are very clever, but I bet you 100 gold pieces you can't fool me. I can, just wait for me, he said. Nasrudin and walked out. 3 hours later, the man was still waiting for Nasrudin and his trick. Finally, he conceded that he had been fooled. He went to the mullah's house and put a bag of gold as his forfeit through the window. Mullah was lying on his bed planning his trick. He heard the clink of coins and found the bag and counted the gold. Good, he said to his wife. Kind destiny has sent me something to pay my bet with if I lose. Now all I have to do is to think out some stratagem to fool the joker who is no doubt impatiently waiting me in the tea house.
He didn't understand that he fooled him already.
That's weird. Get this fact straight. A guide was taking a party around the British Museum. This sarcophagus is 5,000 years old. A bearded figure with a turban stepped forward. You are mistaken, said Nasrudin. It is a 5,003 years old. Everyone was impressed, and the guide was not pleased. They passed into another room. This vase, said the guide, is 2,500 years old. 2,503, intoned Nasrudin. Now look here, said the guide. How can you date things so precisely? I don't care if you do come from the East. People just don't know things like that. Simple, said Nasrudin. I was last here 3 years ago. That time you said the vase was 2,500 years old. Moral, it's later than you think.
It's funny.
That's true. He said the same thing 3 years ago.
It's like they say the universe is 14 billion.
Yeah.
They don't add years.
Clearing up the matter. A dog had fouled the road between two houses. Each neighbor claimed that the other should clear it up. Nasrudin was in court when the matter came before the summary judge. The judge resented Nasrudin's claiming to be an educator in common law. The case was difficult, so he decided to take Nasrudin down a peg or two. I will abide by your decision, Mulla Nasrudin, he said, since this is a difficult case. You have the final word. Okay, my decision? The Mullah immediately answered, 'Tis that, since it is for the judiciary to clear up matters in dispute, you should clean it up. That's a good one.
But I didn't get it.
The judge has to clean it up. Wife and secretary, they have an interesting custom in England, said Nasrudin, and it is that I would like to copy. There's an interesting custom in England, said Nasrudin, and it is one that I would like to copy. What is that? Businessmen take their secretaries to Paris and pretend that they are their wives. But you haven't got a secretary. I have thought of that. All I have to do is to take my wife to Paris and say that she is my secretary.
So no gain anyway. But
God. How to keep it going. Mullah used to stand and...
What's written of that? It's very modern. I mean, that happens now.
I don't know if it's been updated.
It sounds like...
By Indus Shah wrote it, probably. I don't know. You know, Nasrudin, I think, has become a mythical figure. How to keep it going. Mulla Nasrudin used to stand in the street on market days to be pointed out as an idiot. No matter how often people offered him a large or small coin, he always chose the smaller one. One day a kindly man said to him, Mulla, you should take the bigger coin, then you will have more money and people will no longer be able to make a laughing stock of you. That might be true, said Nasrudin, but if I always take the larger, people will stop offering me money to prove that I am more idiotic than they are, then I will have no money at all.
What was that?
You didn't get it?
If?
They said, if people will stop offering me money to prove that I am more idiotic than they are, then I will have no money at all. He kept taking the smaller coin.
So he likes to make people happy.
No, they offer him a large and small coin. He takes the small one.
Mm-hmm. So you'd rather be idiot and get the money.
Actually, that's like writing an app that costs 99 cents. You end up with more money. Charging less ends up with more money than charging a lot sometimes. In business, that is. What happened? How come you didn't read anymore? We didn't read them. How come you haven't read this whole book? I don't understand. Okay. Then read it then. If he hasn't read it, then he should read it. Cooking. Nasrudin made nauseating meatballs and sold them at a stall in the street, with a sign beside him inscribed, I really want to be a student. After a time, the people of the town could not stand the sight and smell of Nasrudin and his meatballs, so they made a collection. Go away and study, Nasrudin, for heaven's sake. Here is the money for it, said their representative. And by the way, what do you want to study? Cookery, said Mulla Nasrudin.
I'll read some ancient Greek now.
I'm going to stop our reading of Nasrudin because it's just a sample. We sampled him a little bit. Okay. He was very wise and he was very quickly wise.